On a bright weekday afternoon, when the world felt too heavy on his shoulders, Jonas Reed walked into the small lakeside bar he rarely visited. Sunlight spilled through the wide windows, glimmering across half-empty tables and casting long, soft shadows against the wooden floor. Jonas wasn't the type to drink in the middle of the day, but life had been hitting him from all sides: his daughter's school fees, overdue rent, and the constant fear of failing as a father. He sat down quietly, lost in thoughts he didn't dare say out loud. That's when she walked in. Celeste Warren, the impeccably dressed CEO whose confident heels usually echoed through glass-paneled boardrooms, looked strangely fragile as she stepped into the quiet bar. She didn't belong in a place like this, yet somehow, in that moment, she looked exactly like someone running from something, and when their eyes met, the world paused. If you believe in kindness, miracles, and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Heartbeat Tales to support more stories like this. Celeste had come to escape the suffocation of success. Despite leading a billion-dollar company, she carried a loneliness that no amount of money could soften. Her father's recent passing had hollowed her world, leaving her wandering in places she'd never gone before. She sat a few seats away from Jonas, but the silence between them felt alive. The midday hush of the bar wrapped around them like an invitation to breathe. Jonas noticed the way her fingers trembled around the glass of sparkling water. She noticed the exhaustion tucked behind his gentle smile. Jonas wasn't a man who spoke to strangers, but something about her loneliness mirrored his own. Their conversation started with small, hesitant words, nothing dramatic, just two people quietly acknowledging life's weight. Celeste asked what brought him here, and Jonas hesitated, but honesty felt easier with her. He told her about his daughter, Ava, the light of his world. He spoke of raising her alone after her mother walked away, of juggling 2 part-time jobs, of always feeling like he was running out of time and strength. Celeste listened with a kind of softness that surprised even herself. She wasn't used to being still, to listening, to feeling connected to someone without pretense. Jonas didn't know she was a CEO. He only saw a woman hiding her sadness behind a careful smile. And for the first time in years, someone saw Celeste. Not the title, not the power, just the person. Their meeting lasted barely an hour before Celeste had to leave, but something inside her shifted. She left the bar, but Jonas stayed with her. His sincerity clung to her thoughts like sunlight that wouldn't fade. By evening she found herself replaying his words, his tired but kind eyes, the vulnerability he didn't try to hide. People rarely touched her heart, yet this man, this stranger, had left a mark, and she couldn't stop thinking about him. The next afternoon Celeste returned to the bar. Jonas wasn't there. She waited, pretending to scroll through her phone, but her heart sank. She came again the next day. Still nothing. Celeste, the woman who could command empires, suddenly felt helpless over the absence of a man she barely knew. She left her number with the bartender, asking him to pass it on if Jonas ever returned. But fate had its own plans. Jonas came back a week later, looking even more worn than before. The bartender slid a small folded note toward him. When Jonas opened it and saw her name, his heart kicked forward in confusion. He didn't think someone like her would remember him, but she had, and she wanted to meet again. When Celeste showed up the following morning and saw Jonas sitting by the window with 2 cups of coffee, something gentle and unexpected warmed her chest. Their second meeting was softer, deeper. Jonas talked about Ava more, and Celeste found herself laughing at his stories. She shared memories of her father, admitting how lost she felt since he left. Their connection was unspoken but undeniable, 2 wounded people finding unexpected refuge in each other's presence. Over the next weeks, their daytime meetings became a quiet routine. Jonas would bring Ava sometimes, and Celeste adored her instantly. The little girl filled spaces in Celeste's heart she didn't know were still empty. Jonas began to feel hope he hadn't felt in years, a hope that terrified him, but also gave him breath. One afternoon, Celeste made a bold decision. She offered Jonas a stable job at her company, not out of pity, but because she saw potential in him that he'd stopped believing in. Jonas was shocked. He wanted to refuse, but the thought of giving Ava a better life anchored his courage. He accepted, trembling with gratitude. Life slowly began to change. Jonas found stability, Ava found happiness, and Celeste found something she had been searching for, genuine connection. She didn't fall for Jonas because he saved her or inspired her. She fell for him because he saw her, truly saw her, when the rest of the world only saw power and perfection. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, share, and comment to support Heartbeat Tales. Your support keeps these emotional stories alive. Before the ending, please comment. Second chances matter to spread positivity.